Just up front, this movie goes a lot of places I didn't expect it to. Eileen was directed by William Oldroyd and stars Thomasin McKenzie and Anne Hathaway, and is a psychological thriller based on the book of the same name. In here, Rebecca is a new secretary at a prison in Massachusetts, but when she encounters a woman who works there as a psychologist for the correctional facility, she becomes completely entranced there, but not as much as Eileen is with her, which soon turns the relationship into something closer, but reveals a dark and sinister secret about Eileen. First up, I want to apologize for my voice. I'm recovering from being sick, which is why I didn't have this review out yesterday. I've been very sick, so I got a little bit of sound to that, but we're fine now. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Eileen. Eileen is a movie that is extremely ambitious and goes a lot of places that are uncomfortable, strange, and poses a lot of questions, and in turn has me in a certain place, which I'm not usually in, which is a very difficult spot where I don't quite know what to say about a movie without spoiling it, but I have to still give a review, so I want to give you details, but I don't want to ruin anything. So my verbiage is going to be very careful in here. I'm going to use words very selectively as to not give away the plot of the movie. Let's get into it. First of all, Anne Hathaway, and here's Eileen, is the first thing I want to talk about because her performance is incredible. It is genuinely a brilliantly psychopathic performance with an edge to it. It's a Hitchcockianly evil performance. She brings that to the screen and knows just how to turn it up enough, but keep it where if she went any more over, it'd be cheesy or campy. Went any lower, it would be too subtle. It's just right, and I love that. She does such a fantastic job in here, and she has scenes where she has to perform insane just moments and things that are rather uncomfortable and be just the presence on screen, and she has to be felt throughout the whole movie, and she does this exceedingly well. I also think that Thomasin McKenzie is very good in here as well. She's her counterpart. She's the far more innocent person, the person who we react through. But I will say her character, and this is not a blight in the performance, but rather the screenwriting, does make some decisions that I think are rather questionable. I'm aware it's a different era, it's a different time, and there's certain things at play here, but I still find some of the decisions she makes strange and not necessarily very logical. The connection between the two, though, is this very odd connection of a toxic relationship clearly underlined with some very dark and sinister ideals from Eileen, who clearly is trying to get some certain something from Rebecca, and she's willing to go to extreme methods to do that. We slowly, as the movie unfolds, go from seeing Eileen as this kind of strange, shady person we've got a bad feeling about, to discovering more and more about her, and find out more and more dark secrets. This movie handles a lot of things, including with other characters, very heavily. There is some talk, just as a heads up, without any spoilers, of some sexual assault in here and other very heavy topics like that. So if you're uncomfortable with these topics, don't watch it. This movie has very explicit scenes in there of also violence. And the thing is, Eileen's character sees a lot of things in her head. She imagines them, and that can go to very strange places and to places that can make some audience members uncomfortable. Me, I actually appreciated a large amount of them, while I think some were there for just the reason of being there. For the most part, it does very well, and this movie sets up a lot of questions. My problem is a lot of the questions aren't answered. They just kind of sit there and they ruminate, and you're left to fill in the blanks yourself without any real clues to do that with. The movie is brilliantly directed, I believe. It is very well made. It has a good sense of tension. You get a claustrophobic sense at times because it just feels like she's this figure that just everywhere you go is somehow stalking you and hanging around, but is just brilliantly done through and through. I think they capture the era very well. And this movie has some of the best supporting cast I've seen in a while. They are truly brilliant because they have some of the hardest jobs to back up these actors and give them something to work with on screen. And they do their job excellently. Something that I really, though, took notice of in this movie is the lighting. The lighting here was just so beautifully done. I have no idea who was in charge of it, but whoever it was, give them all the Oscars in the world. The way it was used. There was this one scene where this mom and Rebecca and Eileen are all in the same room, and he has different lighting on each people in such a way that you can see it change discreetly if you're looking, and it's just so brilliantly done. I loved it to pieces, and I really like a lot of the other aesthetic choices in here. The cinematography is very well done. I will say the script, though, was very much, yeah. There are a lot of things when I watched the movie that, like I said, seemed like unanswered questions, plot holes, maybe some contrivances, and, like, there's good ideas not only fully fleshed out. A lot of the questions are answered, I should say that, though. A lot of them are very well done, and when we kind of get into the heart of the movie, like in the third act, that is very satisfying, but I feel like you're still left with a little bit where you're like, Wish they did a little something else there. But overall, this movie is brilliant produced. I think it could possibly get a lot more attention. It's having a limited release, but I think it deserves some attention. But I'm aware it's going to be a subject matter that's difficult for a lot of people. Eileen is a film that mixes old psychological thriller aspects with a modern twist and manages to keep you guessing with some deep looks into psychology of two people, which I would recommend for you if this is something you're up for. It's something that I don't think is necessary to see in theaters, but if you'd like to, gladly go out and see it. I'm going to give Eileen a 7 out of 10. So thank you guys always so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all next time.